In part 1, I showed you the 4 types of essay topic, and in part 2, I gave you the 90-minute clock. Today, I stop explaining and I build what is I am going to build. I am going to take one real UPSC essay topic that is straight from the 2025 paper and construct a complete essay in front of you with the plan, the introduction, the body, and the conclusion. Everything. You will see every decision as I make it. So, here is our topic. What is the topic? Contentment. Contentment is natural wealth. Luxury is artificial poverty. Contentment is natural wealth. Luxury is artificial poverty. This is our topic. Please read it once and sit with it. If that topic landed in front of you in the exam hall, most students would panic, or worse. And what they will going to do is writing immediately. Start writing immediately. But here we are going to do the opposite. We are not going right. Start writing immediately. Why? What we are going to do here? We are going to spend the first 15 minutes not writing a single sentence of the essay. Then what we are going to do in the first 15 minutes? We are going to think. We are going to think in the first 15 minutes regarding the essay build engine. What is the essay build engine? After the reading of the essay, in the first 15 minutes, what we are going to do? We have to name the type of the essay, then interpret the essay, then fix the thesis line and spread dimensions with examples, and finally add balance and a review. This is the actual process in the plan in the 15 minutes of the time. We are going to do this rather than start writing immediately. So, we are going to discuss in detail the plan. What is the plan and what we are going to do in the 15 minutes? In the exam hall, this planning stage takes the full 15 minutes, and that is a worth every second. So, when I say 15 minutes, that's your clock in the hall. So, in the exam, you spend the 15 minutes. So, then clock is starting. So, clock started. What you are going to do in the step 1? Name the type of the essay. I am asking you first question always. What type is this the essay? After reading the essay in the planning section, you are going to ask yourself, this is issue essay or trade-off essay or idea essay or metaphor essay. Look at what the sentence is built from. You have to again check the essay. Look at what the sentence is built from. Contentment, wealth, luxury, poverty. These are 4 abstract nouns. There is no event here, there is no policy to debate. and no two goods to weigh against each other. So the topic is handing me concepts and daring me to define them. So that is the signature of an idea essay. And the moment we see abstract nouns doing the heavy lifting, we know first job is interpretation, not argument. But look closer, because there is a second clue and it tells me my method. What is the method? Contentment equals natural wealth, luxury equals artificial poverty. This is the essay topic. The topic is doing something sneaky. It is calling wealth a kind of poverty. It reverses that what you would expect. So luxury sounds like wealth, but the line insists it's actually poverty. So that is the reversal thing. That backwards feeling is a paradox here. This is not a fifth type of essay, a structure sitting inside the idea essay, and that paradox hands me my approach for free. So expose the surface reading, dig to the deeper contradiction, and reveal the system underneath. So here the essay type is idea, idea essay, and the method named is paradox. So in the 30 seconds, what you have to do is you already know exactly what you are going to build. That is the these 30 things, 30 seconds are most important. This is the first way and the first step in the first 15 minutes of the planning, that is name the type of essay. Here the essay is idea essay, the method is paradox. Why? Here in the essay topic, they given four abstract nouns to define, and then it calls a luxury a kind of poverty. So that is why that reveals is the method, that is the paradox method. So it is not a fifth type of essay, it is the idea essay, the method is paradox. This is you have to understand very carefully. So then we are moving to step number 2, that is interpret. So now interpret, what is this actually saying beneath the greeting card reading. So the lazy reading is be happy with less, don't be greedy. True, but shallow. If I write that I am writing a school essay, so that is why let me push. What is the real interpretation here? The real interpretation here, contentment is not having little, it is needing little. So under, so luxury is not wealth, it is a dependence that quietly empowers you. The topic is not about money at all, it is about the relationship between desire and freedom. So the person who needs endless things to feel whole is in a real sense poorer than person who needs almost nothing. This is the real interpretation you are going to do in the essay after the understanding of the essay. That is my compass for the whole essay. Everything points back to it. So the topic is not here about money. It is about a relationship between desire and freedom. The person who needs endless things to feel whole is in real sense, poorer than the person who needs almost nothing. So that is the relationship between desire and freedom here we are going to discuss in this essay. So after that, name the type the essay and then interpret the essay. What is the third step is fix the thesis. Now the single sentence, the whole essay stands up. True wealth is freedom from need. True wealth is freedom from need. Manufactured wants are a hidden poverty. And this holds for individual, for economies, and for civilization alike. So one line, if the examiner read only that, they would know exactly where I stand. That is a thesis. That is a thesis is central claim. So notice it also gives me my dimensions. Dimensions like individual, economy, civilization. So the thesis is already organizing the essay for me. So the true wealth is freedom from need. Manufactured wants, a manufactured wants are a hidden poverty for individuals, economy, and civilization alike. So then we are moving to the step 4, that is list the dimensions. Now I spread it across angles. I will pick 5 dimensions. One is the individual, the psychology of desire and hedonic treadmill, and the second one is the economic consumerism, debit, GDP versus genuine well-being, and the third dimension is the ecological. What is the ecological? Overconsumption against a planet with a limits. And the fourth one, the philosophical and civilization. Gandhi, the Buddha, the strikes, sufficiency, and ancient wisdom. And the fifth one, my balance and counter review, where luxury is actually good and where preaching contentment is a privilege. So this is the list of dimensions I'm going to use in this particular essay. That is individual, economic, ecological, physical as well as civilizational, and the final thing, the balance and the counter view. So after these dimensions, what we are going to finalize with the examples and the balance. The last 2 minutes of the planning is here. So quick examples under reach. Individual, the hedonic treadmill, lottery, winner studies, economic, household debit, consumer culture, Bhutan's grass national happiness, Kerala style human development for economic. Then comes to the ecological part, fast fashion, e-waste, the one earth ecological footprint idea. And comes to the civilizational, Gandhi's the world has enough for everyone's need, not everyone's greed. Comes to Buddhist sufficiency, Stoicism, Diogenes. Counter view comes to this counter view, luxury funding, art, science, and progress. And the privilege problem, you cannot tell a hungry family to embrace wantlessness. So these are the examples, and these should be going to the final balancing in the essay. So, and that is the plan. Look at what I'm holding and remember in the hall. This in 15 minutes of work, a type, a sharp interpretation, and a one line thesis, 5 dimensions, examples for each. And that too with my finest, honest counter view. So I have not written one sentence of the actual essay, and the hard part is already done. So This is the difference between a calm essay and a panicked one. In the first 15 minutes, I have completed hard part. So this is where the plan and this is where the first 15 minutes are going to use in the particular essay in the exam hall. So we are moving to the introduction. What is the introduction? After the plan, what we are going to do is write an introduction. Now I write the introduction, one tight paragraph. The the introduction, what is going to consist? Hook, interpretation, thesis. Watch how the plan turns into prose. So this is going to the introduction, going to be the introduction. The richest man in ancient Greece may have been Diogenes, who owned nothing but a cloak and a wooden bowl, and who once asked Alexander the Great only to step aside and stop blocking his sunlight. We tend to measure wealth by what a person accumulates. But this topic asks us to invert that instinct, to see contentment, the state of needing little, as the truest wealth, and luxury, the endless dependence on more, as a quiet form of poverty. The distinction is not really about money, it is about the relationship between desire and freedom. A civilization, like a person, may be measured not by what it can afford, but by what it has learned it does not need. This is the introduction. Look at what that paragraph did. I opened with a hook, Diogenes, a concrete image, not since the dawn of time. It folded in my interpretation. What is the interpretation here is desire versus freedom. And it stated my thesis. What is the thesis? Wealth as a freedom from need. Ending on the civilizational note, I will return to at the very end. Simply one paragraph direction set. I'm going to execute the body. Comes to the body part. Here is the most important thing I will say in this block. This is the body part. The skeleton is the part you can steal for any topic. This is 20 minutes to 75 minutes. So body take 55 minutes. Here is the most important thing I will say. Full sentences are just vocabulary poured into this shape. And the shape is what transfers. So I will build the skeleton live. The prose is the essay part. The prose is also the easy part. Every paragraph runs the same shape. What is the shape? Claim, explain, example, link back to the thesis. Here are my 5 sections. So the skeleton here is claim, explain, example, link back to the thesis. The paragraph number 1, that is individual, this is also called as dimension number 1. Here, what is the claim? At the personal level, luxury impoverishes because desire is a treadmill. This is the claim in the first paragraph. Then comes to explain. Each new want once satisfied, resets to a new baseline, the hedonic treadmill. So satisfaction is always one purchase away. So it never arrives. Comes to the example. Studies on lottery winners returning to their old happiness levels. The restlessness of having everything. Comes to the link part. The contented person needing less is freer, and therefore by the topic's logic wealthier. So this is the paragraph regarding the individual. So then comes to the economic. This is the pattern: claim, explain, example, and a link. An economy built on manufactured once creates a artificial poverty at scale, because consumer culture and easy credit push households into debit to fund wants framed as needs. So GDP rises while well-being stalls. So rising household debit, the gap between GDP growth and happiness indices. Bhutan's gross national happiness as a deliberate counter model. So prosperity that deepens dependence is not a true wealth, it's a poverty in disguise. So this is regarding the economic dimension. An economy of manufactured once create artificial poverty at scale. GDP rises but well-being stalls. Example: household debits, Bhutan's gross national happiness. Then we are moving to paragraph number 3, that is ecological. Here the claim is luxury as excess is a debit the planet pays. Comes to explain what infinite wants collide with finite resources. Overconsumption is borrowing from the future. Exactly. What is the example here? Fast fashion, mounting e-waste, ecological footprint data showing we consume more than one earth. What is the link here? Sufficiency is not just personal virtue, it's a collective survival. So comes to the paragraph number 4, that is dimension number 4, the philosophical or civilizational. Every great tradition arrived at sufficiency as wisdom long before economics did. So contentment as a trained discipline, not deprivation. So Gandhi says enough for everyone's need, not everyone's greed. Buddhist sufficiency saying that says that stoic distinction between needs and wants. So what these traditions call wisdom, the topic calls true wealth. Comes to the balance part, and this is the highest scoring move. So I do it deliberately. I now turn and argue against myself honestly. What is the counter claim number 1? Not luxury, all luxury is decay. Surplus beyond mere need has funded art, scientific research, architecture, and human flourishing. A world of pure subsistence builds no cathedrals and cures no diseases. So, in the counter claim 1, I am saying not all luxury is decay. Surplus beyond mere need has funded art, scientific research, architecture, a human flourishing. A world of pure subsistence builds no cathedrals and no cures, no diseases. So I'm saying counterclaim for me. Then counterclaim number 2, that is the privilege problem. Telling a family in poverty to embrace wantlessness can be a comfortable lie told by the secure. Contentment must be a chosen ceiling, not an imposed floor. So comes to the resolution parties. So the line was never wealth versus poverty. It is whether what we consume versus meaning or replaces it. So sufficiency as a conscious choice, not enforced lack. That resolution is the systemic insight a paradox demands. So the contradiction does not just get noticed, it gets dissolved. So please notice the body never wandered. Every paragraph ran with claim, explain, example, and a link. And the balanced paragraph turned the essay from one sided into mature. That is the whole engine of the body, what we are going to write in the examination. Comes to the resolution part. The resolution is not is saying that the line was never wealth versus poverty. It is whether what we consume serves meaning or replaces it. Sufficiency as a conscious choice, not enforced lack. So comes to the conclusion part. This is 75th minute to 90th minute. So what is the conclusion here? This is the last block. The conclusion part we are going to remember very carefully one thing. Do not summarize. We are going to take the meaningful conclusion. This is the last block, and I do not summarize. I land on meaning and I loop back to where I opened. Diogenes asked Alexander only for the sunlight, and in that small request held a kind of freedom the emperor. With all his conquests, never knew. The paradox of our topic dissolves once we see that wealth was never a measure of that we hold, but of what holds us. To need endlessly is to be owned by our wants. To need little is to be free. This is not a call for poverty or for the rejection of progress. Surplus, wisely used, lifts whole civilizations. It is called to distinguish the consumption that serves a life from the consumption that merely fills it. The truest measure of a person or a society may finally be this: not what it has gathered, but what it has grown wise enough to no longer need. So, this is the conclusion. Loops back, thesis higher, honor balance, ends on meaning. So, this is an elevated human note, not a summary. So, here what that did it returned to Diogenes from opening. The loop makes the essay feel whole. It restarted the thesis at a higher altitude. It honored the counter view, that is, surplus wisely used lift civilization. So it did not feel one sided, and it ended on an elevated human note, meaning, that is meaning, not summary. That is the formula's last step delivered. So before I close, one objection I can feel coming. Sure, that worked because you picked an abstract paradox. Would it survive a different kind of topic? Fair. So let me prove it. Different topic, different type, and I will run the whole plan in under a minute. Please watch the clock. The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting. Let me check this topic with our engine. So step 1, type. No abstract nouns to defend this time. So this is a claim about how power works, something I can test and apply. That is not an idea essay. That is an issue essay with a trade off inside it. Force versus everything that is not force. So, and S, notice it carries a reversal too. Winning without fighting, just like Diogenes. But the type is different here. The dimensions will be different. And the process still cracks it. That is the point. This is the step one, the type of essay. This is what is the essays, issue essay with a trade off inside it. The essay topic is the supreme art of war is to subdue enemy without fighting. This is the essay topic. The step one, the type is issue essay with trade off inside it. So then comes to the step two part, that is interpret. What is the surface reading here? Avoid war, too shallow. The real claim here is the highest power is the power you never have to use. That is victory through deterrence, leverage, and influence. Where actually fighting is the dimension, where actually fighting is the admission of those that those failed. So comes to the step three, thesis. One line we are going to write. True strength lies not in winning wars, but in making them unnecessary. Through deterrence, diplomacy, and influence, through force can never be wholly abandoned. So comes to the step four, that is dimensions. One is military, deterrence, Cold War, nuclear stalemate. Second one diplomatic, alliance, sanctions, statecraft. Third one economic and soft power, trade leverage, culture, influence without armies. Fourth one modern warfare, cyber information, the war fought before a shot is fired. Fifth one is my counter view. And going to the step fifth, that is the balance. Counter. Subduing without fighting can be euphemism for coercion and silent domination. And against a genuine aggressor, the refusal to fight is not wisdom. It is surrender. Comes to the resolution part. The ideal is not the absence of force, but force so credible to rarely has to speak. So this is the resolution. Under a minute, half of the time, because once the process is yours, it's fast. Different topic, different type, issue, not idea. And look at thesis 5 dimensions and a counter view ready to write. Same 5 steps. That is the whole claim of this series in on one breath. It was never the topic, it was the process. So step back and look at what just happened. We took four intimidating words. Those are contentment, wealth, luxury, poverty. And in one structured pass, we built a complete essay and we named the type. We interpreted the past, the obvious, and we fixed a thesis. We spread 5 dimensions. We anchored each real examples. We faced the strongest objection honestly, and we closed on meaning. This is entire thing we have done with this particular essay. And No point did we rely on inspiration. At no point did we hope the topic would click. We ran the process, the same four types from part one, the same clock from part two, and the process produced the essay. And then we did it again, different topic, the supreme art topic. So the different type and the process produced that one too. The topic creates uncertainty, process creates decisions. So that is the whole point of these three videos, from essay, structural, part 1, autopsy, part 1 to part 2, part 3. The essay paper is not a test of how much you know or how lucky you get with the topic. It is a test of whether you can think clearly, under pressure, with structure. And that, unlike talent, unlike luck, is something you can build one practiced essay at a time. So once you very well with the structure and practice prose, you can easily dominate the essay in the exam hall. Now it is your turn. Pick any topic from past paper, run this exact process and write your own. So this is the thing regarding essay we have discussed so far, from part 1 to part 3. In the part 1 we discussed how to write an essay. In the part 2 we discussed 90-minute clock, and part 3 we build a live essay, how to write, and we step to step working. So this is the essay part, and where I will see in the next master class, that is general English analysis. Thank you.